before the international break, na Chelsea nyasa results no. Say na ye free international break abano. Chelsea fans na dodo na expect say Chelsea be sa to aso. No metime nya 3 maximum points no. Any matches a hold on bebo. So playing against Burnley, Chelsea fans na expect to win. Ken Burnley this season enye bobuku abeka say. Omomodembo no extraordinary. Obeka say omomodembo eni suru bebree because out of 11 games no, Burnley for we need just 3 games. Ente ye bobuku a o dey compare Chelsea a. Chelsea emodembo e was suru esen Burnley bobuku no. Anasa wo check Chelsea mpokra or some good record against Burnley because omo matches omo bonanse ni nyina no. Eya Chelsea finding a way to get the best results against a team friend say Burnley. However, Burnley able ofie no emfa ho ni baby omoda emfa ho ni omo record a enkoye mfa ma Chelsea no ade ba kwa about Burnley this season amasho omo nyina na ye say omo bo ofie e wo turf mu a omo ma opponent a oba hobia ni feel uncomfortable omo try say omo the pressure be to so obe she Burnley mpokra wo turf mu a obe bre entiteke kwan ya Burnley fa so share Sunderland Liverpool ko turf mu obi ahwe game ni Liverpool wini eye no kre by kwanya Liverpool for so brave answer no munya sa 1-0 win against Burnley. Arsenal ko ho nansi eko win ye. Arsenal win omu game. Se wo hwe bia Burnley for ma match ni mu ye dene e de ma Arsenal bobuko no. Enti Burnley for no de oni omu ba obehye omu e wo turf mu. Na mum obebре answer no watimi ahye Burnley team no. Scott Parker say o coach Burnley eye bobuko no. Ade e ba Scott Parker ho ne ye say onim se ball no ontimi mbiem ne Chelsea mbo. Enti every single team be a Burnley nesia can be ano. Burnley and dominating opponent no. Ojai possession edema opponent because Kopaka awoye coach edema Burnley no or prioritizing defensive approach more than say obebo attacking football no more. Enti so watch a Burnley team now. Omi ye very combative. Omi ye very physical. Omi ye very aggressive. And omi ye team ba kwa time biano. Omi ye mobile. And omi deal with long balls. Enti so koshia Burnley a. Ken Burnley ye bo boko ba kwa. Obe show mu ba obe bre enti Chelsea for making sure say playing against Burnley dominating the Chelsea never dominating game no because Burnley ball no omo boni nyina no omo depend on omo overlapping fullbacks no Kyle Walker and a branch friend say Hartman sa 2 players no and be the overlapping e dia momo now I try send the midfielders no be get you closer to the box and be Leslie Wochuku and a branch friend say Florentino Luis sa players no be get you closer to the box now opportunity ne bomb beba so the only thing na Enzo Maresca any Chelsea bobo ko ni hia say on no so mu kra ball ne che se woni Burnley sia na u kra ball ne cha Burnley for no e bebre no match as leave spaces in between omo lines enti emfa ho se Burnley ebo defensive football no Burnley ebo boko ba kwa ken omo concede a lot and omo ye obi a defensively omo nya strong because se wo koshi omo na wo possess bebree na wo kra ball na wo betima tete Burnley boboko no and Chelsea were materials Chelsea were akade omo betimi dia tete Burnley boboko no because currently so we check Chelsea team now look at the midfield display of Chelsea Caicedo form our pique our stability ben finfin ho Enzo Fernandez say mostly coach ni mani operate on the left side. Now at time no obey out of opposition block. Now we create overloads no. Say Kukureya, Malo Gusto resumes SFP omo ready ma. Say ombe inverte, say ombe overlap, ombe making sure say omo joining attack, ombe to improve Chelsea setup no. Say Garnacho so epic in the rhythm. Let's not forget say Garnacho bo game we be a. Garnacho airborne 100 game. Our Premier League. And to playing in 100 game, Garnacho be try say obetmenya go and also be assist. Now saying why very productive at the Chelsea or create Chelsea bobuku no. So check 2 teams now ken. You know, I believe Chelsea based on players in form playing against Tef more Burnley ebema no mema ye den the Chelsea there. But I believe with Chelsea setup no any individual brilliance of Chelsea emfa hu se Kopa mamokrensia kan no recently hu se Kopa mensia kan kra na Chelsea finding a way to win on games no so make te po obi obewini a meko e the Chelsea say against Burnley the Chelsea and a favorite e was a game we mu Liverpool et na fie e bo Nottingham Forest after set Liverpool team no e share Aston Villa omo share Real Madrid boboko no na nipa dodo na anim say Liverpool team na hyase say omo peke ana Manchester City chi omo ana omo ti omo Mijitum say nanse nyoma nkoye emfa ma Liverpool team no so playing against Nottingham Forest wo fie no die who expect Liverpool team to bet mania the 3 maximum points because Nottingham Forest na Liverpool for you mabisi akan impokra no Nottingham Forest this season omodem bono any suru bebre Until year season, ye nyandru baby. Na a single team, use 3 different managers, a trouble bokono, how almost struggle. And so we Liverpool now with Nephew now Nottingham Forest, only any excuse than to find a way to get the 3 maximum points. But dear Bakwaba Nottingham Forest Bobokoni say, last 2 games, lose ye. And the Enfa send your the entire season, your man Koye from Nottingham Forest, last 2 games. Making sure say draw against Manchester United. And making sure so winning against Leeds United. So gradually, Sondai so be far team friend say Nottingham Forest or try so bet may improve Nottingham Forest Boboko na bibia koyi ediamomo. And the papa friend say Nuno Espirito Santo. Abra no coach Nottingham Forest season as no. The style of play ni say yen defending yembo counter football. And a Postecoglou so be fame ne de say yem build it from the back yembo aboa any yem fan create chances. By say Nyoma Sisa with Nottingham Forest under Sean Dyke. Do amu say time biano a direct football. And omo pattern of play no edina omo fullbacks ne so. Omo fullbacks no Williams and a branch friend Nicolo. Enti o check if it is a Sean Dyke befa Nottingham Forest bobo kwa. Omo last 2 games here improvement na. Bo no omo boni nyina no. Omo chance ye set time biano what omo fullbacks no Nicolo and a Williams ebe hu game ne so. The next player will be now game no so a pattern of playing be no so no. Omo number 6 Elliot Anderson. And Obi Osher and Nottingham Forest team this season. Watch the English national team, Elliot Anderson performance, any form no was through. And can who be na teams I can see any chance say, Omu chasing this guy. So watch a keep a friend Thomas Tuchel. Our numpokra England national team head coach. Transcend power kafa Branty we who. And tia Branty any war form. And say Nottingham Forest, Omu last 2 games. Majority of Omu game no Omu boni nano. Elliot Anderson in the midfield added that stability, added that show ne the abati my friends Nottingham Forest bobu kono. Now we're using the rings on Indoi Anna Dominguez. And to the pattern of play under Sean Dyke, currently our Nottingham Forest no, Omu fullback, Elliot Anderson and Omu 2 wingers no. So Adia Liverpool be here will give me say Mohamed Salah any rhythm. Onyam Piqué ne form. Cody Gakpo or Peja Kakra na drop it. By playing against Nottingham Forest, me expect a slot. Ebama Cody Gakpo and Mohamed Salah. It's not a branch of Williams and Nicolo because sa 2 players or more fullback Edema Nottingham Forest no. Omo involved or more pattern of play. And it's all the pressure to have 2 fullbacks now and neutralizing Nottingham Forest for Ebo Bokuno. And so what a key game we ankasa. And you most likely say Soboslan about cover the right side of defense. And the team my friends say Liverpool. Conor Bradley out of this game. Jeremy Frimpong so fit. And the only way I bet menya a right back no Soboslai. And Elliot Anderson who game this one. A one other midfielders need to me call me. On one I say as I showed the back 4. Edema team my friend say Nottingham Forest. So me expect to say Curtis Jones, a branch of friends Mark Alistair. In Finfi one I'm bet dominating Finfi no ahead of Elliot Anderson. No man eliminating Elliot Anderson out of this game. Say Elliot Anderson and Huswa. And the pressure added to the center back of Nottingham Forest. So Morilu and Abrante friends Milinkovic. Now for the watch I say will create your chances no. Not Sobosla and Robertson. I'm making sure say Dominguez and Indoi and who game so. So Liverpool for what's almost finding a way to stop this new Nottingham Forest. Almost form of match I say almost picking. So we checking Nottingham Forest and Liverpool individual brilliance in Liverpool for our Surubri. As a Nottingham Forest and for say Liverpool for a struggle recently no. Me tepu Liverpool for say ombe win this game we. St James Park, Newcastle, anything my friend say Manchester City and a BC akan. Obi oye Manchester City fan bi anim say. Nansen venue ba ko mo brepa no St James Park Newcastle fee. And from 2022 ebesi ne. The last time I who say team my friend say Manchester City akọ St James Park from 2022 besi ne no. O matimi akọ win no. O makọ win once from 2022 ever. Abro mo kwa 3-2 enu mpokura na game ni apon awie ana Oscar Bob 90 plus added minute ota enya winning goal no edema Manchester City. So recently venue ba kwa Manchester City ko mo brepa no the St James Park anene omo se ko ho by Ken this season ankasa no edi how team Newcastle pressure wo mo so nyoma enfama Newcastle bobuku no out of 11 games omabo so far no oma winning just 3. That's not the Newcastle anymore. Because the last 2 seasons, team bakwa, what peja the modern bomb, or team qualify for UEFA Champions League, na Newcastle can be. By your share season, as a new man koi. Adia bakwa na Newcastle for a dance, no me unique. How are you share game nasiano? The first 10 minutes, intensity e wo mo pressing on making sure say on be press so high on ma won feel comfortable on the ball by this time around say intensity ni hobie that aggression on man to man pressing no ayira enti say what taking Newcastle recently on many mo no say on mo press ya have you Benz ne pressing no atiaba form Nick Voltamalda a mo kofa ne bae no onye obi a o te say eye Isaac mo betima press so say intensity and Newcastle for the press at the first 10 minutes on my opponent if really uncomfortable no ye hu sadie no Newcastle bobuku ni say Newcastle force us switch no mo si deeper sa omo 4-5-1 no say still na no opponent e find new ways on be exploit sa spaces no a create chances e the ball to atenem e dey tia Newcastle bobuku no na Newcastle the entire setup e your mo midfielders miensa ane kuro mo say Bruno Guimaraes Sandro Tonali mo ehu game ne so a and a Newcastle team ne function this time around ye share season as no omo midfielders miensa no ain't mean pick omo rhythm into the entire season Newcastle for extra go kakra playing against Manchester City a very different game altogether. Pep Guardiola assistant in Sanu and Kofa Dream Baso. Pep Guardiola ye nim no our Barcelona ye nim no Bayern ye ba Manchester City in the early days at their time bia Pep Guardiola penny say in fin hono e was on nya control because our players are on my dream do on my technical ability was through and Pep Guardiola by Manchester City no say obo De Bruyne obo Bernardo Silva no obo Rodrigo Cascanta e players nyansa on be control fin di amount by this time around your masasa e Nico Gonzalez Tiani Reinders and Ryan Cherki sa players no omo nya midfielders are obetima kasa the entire 90 minutes on the be dominating fin di amount and Pep Guardiola is smart to the extent say so only that type of midfielders ni bi wo ho dia ene ma men sesa mensa no enti ken say obi a wa check Pep Guardiola ball no obo ni nyina no o use wide side dynamics e wo football mu kire say anytime you on be attack bia no the wide players no ye mo that freedom to move around and the reason why this season obi about Jeremy Doku abaso no ye say the new style of play of Pep Guardiola is uti Jeremy Doku or you see the wide side dynamics into Wama Jeremy Doku that freedom that liberty to move around and anytime you Manchester City be initiate attack you know e ya the position of Haaland ever drop deep now opponent now focus on Haaland now creating space e dey ama Jeremy Doku because of the 1v1 ability 2v1 ability so me nipa me ensample kra na Jeremy Doku betima boa na e release pressure on Haaland na wetimi abangi in the goals and Pep Guardiola assistant ensano you see the wide side dynamics are bringing the best out of Manchester City bobuku no again back kwa metipo Manchester City so betimi win this game we against Newcastle for minutes through Arsenal and Spurs North London derby from 1921 ebesine between Arsenal and Spurs omabo 197 games Arsenal win 84 Spurs win 61 and 52 about draw recently sa two clubs ni mpokura say shia eye taiko ye de ma Arsenal uyi ni nyina sa to nchen a without statistics wey eye eye test obi ahwebi currently Arsenal ni Spurs ni hwan na wosoro simple wey enye debatable eye Arsenal bobuku no say Arsenal si akan na Spurs si akan a Arsenal mu edu esen Spurs bobuku no enti nipa dodo na etipo Arsenal so me favorite because of omu good record against Spurs omu recent performance and the current form omu what say editor team friend says Spurs but there back about Spurs this season year second this season you know the only side ewo Premier League on lose match away Spurs and the only team on lose match away out of the 5 games away no wetimi win 4 and draw 1 oko Etihad e say Manchester City and Spurs e ba we bia ne hu by ken no prayer ba kope se metina se ne na me analyze Spurs any team my friend say Arsenal every single department on the field bia Arsenal was so saying Spurs so we check the defensive line say Timber Calafiori mo mo e chiro ho no Saliba mo e chiro no omo ye capable so metima stop any team attack e wo omo final third o and Spurs anka say nim ho no so nye sharp omani mo no omo ntimi nkleke ye nse de nya player ba kwa sha ase say odi ne hu si ho a all banging in the goals edi ama Spurs and Arsenal ye capable so metima contain team friends Spurs omo attack no in the midfield play Papi Abrante friends Papi sa aye fit awaba Paulinho e wo ho and so we check our players we now they compare Arsenal midfielder Arsenal midfield ni more balanced than Spurs you know because Arsenal bebo Merino or bebo Declan Rice no about Abrante friends say ebere che eze so 3 players no one fin the Arsenal team no on betima protect your back line ability to control games was through, ability to create was through, because Benya Brand Fences Zubimendia, obey the controller, the deep lying playmaker. Benya Brand Fences Bereche is operating as the number 10, giving that creative work Ediama Arsenal. Benya Declan Rice, box to box. And between these two teams, the midfield air balance air Arsenal. Then about Arsenal for final third. And for who say Yokares and fit. Arsenal be use Merino as the first number 9. Anytime we make Merino who has some trobiano, Mr. Merino ye midfielder by our soul of a striker. And the end found so ye midfielder, or the next question number 9, wha Ubetimama goes no, Trossard on the left side, Bukayo Saka on the right side. And everything on the field of play, Arsenal air go in favor of Arsenal. Kudus etimia ye training. Or no ano team was Spurs team no whosoa. A was Spurs bobuko no. But check it 2 teams in our performance. Metipo Arsenal so many favorites. Uko Spain, Barcelona air Bob Bilbao. Rightly, as you said, after 909 days, Barcelona, yes, be who was Spotify company, and Barcelona returning at their favorite grounds. No, the first thing I was expecting, you say, Barca defeat Chelsea was Spotify company. So every single Barcelona fan expected a win against Bilbao because all say Bobo, I was Spotify company, mean draw, mean lose. So be expecting win for Barcelona. The Atoswo, Barca person mu chasing Real Madrid. Madrid were 31 points. Barcelona were 28 points. Points difference between these two sides are 3 points. And it's all better match chasing Real Madrid. And what's all winning games, no? So apart from some returning to Spotify company, almost say chasing Real Madrid. So Barca aiming nani say benya 3 points, no? By Ken, Bilbao ye bo boku on timi Barcelona or Barcelona few. And found when baby a Barcelona besia kind. Baby on betcha Bilbao be and say Barca bo fear or dominate. The last time at Bilbao, Ekwashe Barcelona ufino, 2001. 24 good years in ye. Bilbao entimin kwashe Barcelona ufi. Enti se ye league. Not 21 years ni untimin she mumifia. E tro say we were home dominance, home supremacy ahead of air Bilbao team no. Enti Barca bo ufia onso Bilbao team no. Ana coach of the Bilbao oba no, Ernesto Valverde. Or a former coach of Barcelona or be performing a Juma de Barcelona. By free Barcelona, Okosia Barcelona be our own team Barcelona. And based on records and everything, in favor Barcelona Bubukuno. But dear Baku about Barcelona, and say Bilbao team under Ernesto Valverde, omu defensive oriented side. Papa friend say Ernesto Valverde Bilbao no aseseno. Or pesa defensive solidity no. And tuni ni isia kanya. Onfa wone bo abebo. By time bi anobe try say obe defending in a natural 4-4-2, flat 4-4-2. Now our forces say the ball ne be for wings. Now when you just one attack, channel of attack. And the Kwanya Bilbao for Fasu AC or Makai. Ken, Barcelona injury situation no was through. Players need be briefing on returning from injury. So mean expected Barcelona team a collective play never was through. Mean kwacha Barcelona team Abeka said the teamwork in the Bayer Juma. Barca be winning game we are ken. A Bayer individualism. And a Barca be winning game we. Individualism in football, the processor. Individual players no ever bring almost skill set on board. And the Barca players no Rafinha no free injury ba. Lami Yama, Onyam Peke and Redim Nepa, Lewandowski Nyam Peke, sir, Daniel Munyam Peke, and it's teamwork in Unya. Okay. But dear Barcelona Benya ahead of Bilbao, no, individualism. Lami Yama Benyani D. The last time you Lami Yama, the first game, our company, Abrana Osia, can know 15 years, 290 days. A Javi, and a man born the first game work, a Spotify company, or say return it. Lami Yama person chesses or say return or hodia also train bobre. Lewandowski air tries or better than bobre. Rafinha ba or better tries or better picking redim ne kakra. Barcelona enya Pedri, onya Frankie Dion. So in the midfield play, Oba Benya Marc Casado, Oba Benya Femi Lopez, Oba Benya Dani Olmo. So 3 players winning to mean total dominance, total control of Vinfio. But who expected Dani Olmo individually? Obeti Masasani Omadiamao. Femi Lopez as a shadow player. Baby obe fraba no aba be shego ndi amount enti se Barca be winning game we ya enkoye teamwork enkoye collective play be individualism Barca players ni enya omude one gasi aba press aba Barcelona so o expect so benya ni day no asebu Barcelona kunde benya ni day baudi benya ni day enti individualism no ana wo Barcelona e ma Barcelona advantage of over Bilbao meko win for Barcelona ahead of Bilbao. Real Madrid Elche enye kasa Madrid be winning game we. By the only player me bon paye se obenyani day Arnold. Arnold baye no onya no redim on picking the form ana injuries asabe slow ne down. After na all say back from injury or person cementing a position on the right side. And me hope he say from a nyame adoma china game ne kono and not beat my perform ye dia ma Real Madrid because they say Madrid set up no Alvaro Carreras on the left side where we okay. I the right side. Na Fedi Valverde who atono. Say obabo the right wing, obabo the midfield. So the only thing I'm expecting will give me say Arnold ebenya ni day a win for Real Madrid.
No, Kwame de la Ediano no Mamen Queldos in what I meant to so infantry on Biggie and so Ebebam in Chakra. Adoson.
Ken Yamishaw, Yenya Tony Montana, Nemame, and then a birthday.
Oh, Tony.
Yeah, Tony. Yama make glad this equia a free year. So, in fact, I put to
Tony Montana.
Yeah, Yenya Tony Montana. Inti, yeah, we share my happy birthday. Na Gladys also eximo happy birthday. Na Ken Mamen Twaso and Fanfi Spain. Na ye monko moka. It's a nice special day at my Barcelona because they spend a lot days power Montjuic 27 months Montjuic and ye easy trying to get back to their own stadium. 27 months now Barcelona spend on Montjuic, you know, Ken. About 57 games. Winning 43 goals there, baby. 155 goals. Montjuic was a good adventure. And now, a homecoming, El Campuno. Now, and the homecoming, no, the man dance on the say. There ought say Barcelona boku one gampa. And ne sortiasia and ne any birthday. It makes the game very, very interesting. Say, spending 909 days away from your home grounds. Now, you are coming on the day the ought say Barcelona boku one gampano and ne any birthday. On the 22nd of November 1877, I was Switzerland. Odi 22 years. And yes, man, no say, I'm saying, for Barcelona, or we are on free Barcelona, Africa. And that be sugar factory, or bedroom Barcelona, Krumwa, or Kawa, or Tibo Buku. Ken, say, Udi numbers and which year? And then Barcelona say, Ome invite one Gampa, ne grandson say Omra program now say Javier Gampa, any Daniel Gampa, no more Asie, send a bear Barcelona for so air Kai almost say, and na a special day at the moment, and so and ye be a stadium, no so I know ye dear, but and then ye share games and I say, oh, it's Ken, let me talk about numbers, Kraniura game 22nd. November so 11th into 22/11. Ken is so more now. The 11th month, the day is 22. 11 mienu is 22. And says okay. And necessary 909 days. Necessary 9 also so a rami womb. Barcelona de Oshana Lewandowski. And that 11th month, you know, it is also the return of Rafinha, who is the number 11 jersey. It is so more now. Not just possibly level any Rafinha and then we beat him. Because the number 22 then can a crucial power, but Mark Bernal, means a coach in the man boni bidia because on there on no and no bon game in be. It makes the game interesting. Now, the most important thing or your hands a flick and now what dressing room you would want to do is that you have to control the players' emotions before you even talk about tactics. Because players need to bring more ball camp no. Because emotionally, players need to stable. Tactics, you know, or catch, you know, almost simple pass, not while overdo it. It's emotionally, you talk to the players, calm them down. Camp no need so that Enko gets into some of the players. Because your controlling game at the calm at the Barcelona game and the Omobi Frankie de Jong. So we are going to see Marc Casado as a number 6. You see, because of Frankie de Jong, Pedri, omoya out in it. He say Pedri cried or call out. No, ma Frankie de Jong ebo 8 because he control and then it is Danny Omo would have to play more of a number 8. Na uncontrolled game in Fama Bassa because Casado enya sa type no. Na nanse me unse Casado o suene me bebre me pamucho eya munya botre because total football number 6 ne bon na form. You can be professional. Coach or sister say number 6 where you man yes tackle, get the ball, release. Nemo or person who control the game so it takes months. And you have to understand because number 6, what you baller when to pass. I tell you, what's me ball no so how invite pressure because they're part of your game. When see Frankie de Jong what's me ball, or be change ball no so 9 or person invite pressure. Now he takes the decision. No, a pass the ball no, not a creative space. I tell you, who position your key, who pass the ball now? Where do I position myself as a number 6? These are things Frankie de Jong, Marc Casado, Afeina Ocean. Because the style, yes, our style on one. It's a better I to say, well, Nicolas Gonzalez and Nico Gonzalez of Manchester City. This season, he's playing very well. But last season, Obre Paonumpa. Now about tiki taka nibi wa Barcelona, wako Porto, about Manchester City. He had to sit down, learn. On one case say, I told him you call Rodri. No bisa Rodri. Minya da ibone ba. It is our position. No born na from sa. Inte told the bia bon say, coach no told the bia no frustrated kakra because Casado on sada nya sa style no. Inte say calmness no. The odeba no so omobia. Nature say midfield were issues kakra ho in terms of control. I want to make Candice Sudia say last season one of the strengths for Barcelona was their pressing, winning balls at the opposition third. This season, team are pressing pa La Liga no. Real Madrid, they are told to be Atletico Bilbao. Barcelona had the 4th team. So Barcelona moved from 1st to 4th. But Bilbao now be toss 2nd. It's Bilbao ye team. Not just almost pressing bebre. It's not just Barcelona 4-year build up from the back. It was a build up on a game. And yes, sir, one pass you are gone. Nyamya done for Bilbao. Nico Williams Eba. Ohaini Sanchez last season it was fantastic. Boy na among fun time money di. Here Atletico Bilbao team no more Nico Williams and Iñaki Williams. But boys are maybe Phillips or more ball pa. Ohaini Sanchez Gurizeta number 9. The ball no pa but born so wingers for normally omunya space sa Ohaini Sanchez and Gurizeta who game no so someone to Sanchez Matissa waba from injury. Minimum so coach the best starting in there. Nico so swaba from the injury. Let's just say pressing game never cost to be. I am looking at how Barcelona are going to get out from the press of Team FN Bilbao for no. Because once they are able to do that, any more day, say Lewandowski abano sharpness I don't have doubt in that. Because this time around, I'm expecting say goal scoring, pressing game unlike previous game. But how to get out? I don't know, Mistro. It's a possibility. If coach about Eric Garcia because teams are pressing Bebreno, what had the runner roll, a change the move Bebreno pass. So possibly be Garcia more possibly. Ebia Garcia Kubasi and a bit Timiabo. Advantage Barcelona. But one of those tricky games, Barca needs to be very careful. My friend Yemeni be from here. I have seen a deliberate attempt from Manchester United to defend Benjamin Sesko. Now, me who say from board of directors, you know, say, say investment way die, send your man for so mano, EDC Ramos Hoyland, no, Omon Pedima Sadinisi. Club Bain War, Europa, only data analyst, Munkanchemi. And so Manchester United, the Omokofa, this guy, Mike Sansoni, Moshe Formula 1, Mercedes Benz Formula 1, no. On an omu data analyst, sir, Sansoni the television is we. Wait, why you more about 11 years in here? Don't forget to say Manchester United owner Ineos, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Okuta 1/3 shares in this F1 and Wakofa Sansoni Abasombe director of, in fact, data analyst. Ken Bachomitio, minim, and also nim, and listen your BS Sunim say. Yeah, top player wa brochira. Coach, ebe catch sporting directors to say position number 10, number 9. Yeah, shorty. Then the sporting directors will also talk to the technical director if Sebi Woha. Then they send a scouting team. Scout the list bar. They will analyze. Now be how much you sue. Alongside the coach, then the data analyst will also go into details. Sanity. Manchester say they needed to take a decision on Benjamin Sesko and Victor Gyökeres. As a sad time, you know, Victor Gyökeres at disadvantage, I don't want to say. No one 27 as compared to Benjamin Sesko, who was 22 years. 10 years. Gyökeres, no washa goals, bebre. 97 goals in 102 games. Gyökeres goals, no, not and shut down no Subiasa. In terms of goals, you go for Victor Gyökeres. Now, Gyökeres' problem is say, now on me she goals against big clubs, except for Manchester City. Then Enumpo, sa game the Manchester City number 5. I don't know Taki Gyökeres. There is something pussy sa kwadano. It's a disadvantage and now what Gyökeres no. But clearly, in Pennyfono more Manchester United, no, they preferred Benjamin Sesko because he was young, because our height, and almost say, or make you off the ball runs. Don't forget, let me give you a context. Amorim, not the preferred player, Oli Watkins. Because Ole had a premiership experience. No, only premier because coach not a premiership place. And yes, I feel now bad adapted. But Aston Villa for over 70 million. And the man you say for a 29-year-old, they will not pay. I have to say, Antoine Semenyo and Brian Mbuim with DAB. Coach no pay Semenyo. Amorim wanted Semenyo. But Semenyo Manchester United, they could be saying, no, bomb of 4 bomb 70. I don't say that's not make sense. About goals is shed here. In Wemo scores a lot of goals. It's a sad decision in Nebia and a call in favor of Benjamin Sesko. Now watch this. Sesko baya all Shade Huso, as they say in Buemo and Kunya na Airborne. The first interview from Manchester United management came from Jason Walkworth. 1st of November. Watch this. Benjamin Sesko is going to be an amazing player. It is difficult to be a number 9 at Manchester United. And I know sometimes that Matis Cunha and Brian Mbuemo are getting a lot of credit. But the runs that Benji, referring to Benjamin Sesko, is making is also helping Matis Cunha and Brian Mbuemo as well. Oh, the technical director, Smoker. Say, Manchester United who born number 9 or brepa or no quarter player because on one day him koto you. It was so bit different there then. Also Manchester number 9 in that form. Now we want someone for ball Matis Cunha Basso, more ball Brian Mbuemo Abaso. But Emma Muren fi say Benjamin Sesko. A Juma all you know. Now rounds off the ball rounds and be all you know. And a boa. Oh sama on the bekai. And yami one say and ne what by your story I was so case Manchester for the so we okay because of the ball runs. They say when you form the off the ball runs and they judge number 9. Hey, And necessarily Ramos Hoylon the man fair man no crowd. One can't champagne for ne say. A bedroom maybe. Season say the entire biya dini say ya monko baby say you book caref, you do match wa. People will begin to analyze Ramos Hoylund and Benjamin Sesko if he continues like this. Obien wa day of the ball runs ebe analyze number 9. Say off the ball runs me na me running fake ema kunya mo kwese number 9. Say me na me pinball no tour na oma pima yenye sa number 9. Because I see said a deliberate attempt to protect Benjamin Sesko, no problem. But the protection no I was said a park and so because you see no a goals and you be checking. Yentwaso Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest. Last season, Liverpool for sorry a team stopping Nottingham Forest for a while. Last season. See me who send you see Liverpool na ye Nottingham. Now a very unfortunate to say Nottingham atiaba from Ababe drew this level to the extent say Nottingham team no 11 games almost 10 goals. Until they can't even average 1 goal per game. Now Liverpool so they are not in the right state because Ken. So over 6 Premiership games, their last 6 Premiership games. Now ulusu 5 are concern. Until Liverpool needs to come back. How are they going to do that? Ken, share Liverpool and the lineup no. Me are curious to know. Me person me share di bi kakra. Say number 2 no. Why nebebo because minim say in the absence of Jeremy Frimpong and Conor Bradley. Se showbus like Oboha, a flowing vets na a button. But vets also young available. See, na debiano mi dia here Conor Bradley ni won Ken. Boy no oswa. Na minim se amount for attention ni ho oni born ni bo papa but for injuries. Se Conor Bradley may stay fit for 6 months. Amount for being qualities are quite bueno. Kono. But every single time we waba. Unim say last season alone, or me see games makuma 19. Some of the previous seasons, like Asama, 2 seasons in ye. Small boy Conor Bradley, 22-year-old Bradley. What makes the games makuma 50? Can I mean how are you going to do it? 50 games in the last 2 seasons. Wasanswe pra oko 2 weeks ago. It is a Kenya injury and Kakwarano Boboni, but I feel very bad for the coach because since injuries, they were so taking decisions, it might affect the team. The intermakers are say, Ebiana Curtis Jones win Akoboho. And don't forget, send a Liverpool for Effasu Presse 4-2-4. No. Salah is always drifted inside in their press. Into their opponents left back or Boboni Yepa, the night carbon bebre. Into TMA, Nottingham left back, Nico Williams. Or non funny for Liverpool. I'm right, what Dominguez, Nicolas Dominguez. Ain't he so omube who game no swa because omna carbon bebre and ne some who game this one they are coming up against a mid-shift right back. This is where my concern is. It is a coach in Ibenya because any so from midfield to attack the other boy Dominic Szoboszlai. It won't mean Kase. Me short to a right one to Obia. All be Baba Boni ye diama me in for number 10 what I question number 2. It's the only problem Liverpool have will be their right area because Konate and say only sa strength no say right back in ya or betimia cover sa space in this. That is the only disadvantage Liverpool was area. But apart from that, I think it's Liverpool should take advantage of this win. Of this game there. Misusu and I go again. I would want to go advantage Liverpool. Na mimbo bon neman tete we say time no ko. Share Newcastle any city. At the paper so a big game. Miji tumpa. Now when him say the last 35 games between City and Liverpool, sorry, City and Newcastle, Newcastle winning back up Ken. Last 35. The Rafa Benitez in 2019. Okay, maybe this might confuse you. Eddie Howe, who is the coach of Newcastle? Eddie Howe was a coach. Winning against Man City. Oh, Premiership anymore. Some of the games ni wa ayana a strange part say City ni Crystal Palace bar. Who want the best ones or more City. But City is also Newcastle bar. City are some crowd one na game na a draw. Recent times, me observation can say ene Bernardo Silva is very important. Pep Guardiola St. James Biano, he prefers players the team could ball because time Biano, St. James Wano, sa supporters near de bebre, home supporters na atmosphere na evrawa win me more. So normally he prefers players that holds onto the ball, pass the ball around, turn their supporters against them. It's about Bernardo Silva, Okuta boni bebre no channel, no other form kakra. They just waste the time and pass the ball around, no win no results, no moko. Inti a gamer Newcastle for some bibia they need to turn a bad record around because I embarrassing say Newcastle like a bomb with Newcastle. You cannot beat Manchester City even at their worst stage last season. Sa breakaway abeha City papa and yes sa momentum City peki no. Say I no near to us one commit me catch us City be show 2-3. By international break in my game near very difficult. Inti double chance City. Ebiane Burnley and Chelsea. Dear, Mama can some show. Ken Burnley for no de bia meka niam miensa about them. Premiership ni nyina omo amon possessable na are. Team impossessable Burnley. Team Empress Burnley. Team tumtum yamba bonisim Burnley. Inti their team who check us out statistics they are team that frustrates you. Omo body be bromba be go echire. Na omo frustrate you. Into ombe go echire they be teams the ball ne tata omo. And let me give you one example. Who be team or commit penalties by Burnley for because time biano they are always at their back. Against Manchester United, oh, how they stretched them. Last minute, Manchester United got rescued by Bruno Fernandes penalty. Against Liverpool, against Arsenal, Arsenal scored early. And I almost stop you. In this game, Chelsea ever set so well. Chelsea needs first 35 minutes, Chelsea be here go. And yes, sir, if you allow them to grow in confidence, as some way see. Arsenal Tottenham, dear Ken.
Okay, yeah, so.
Tottenham for our record only a good
Spurs.
But Arsenal.
I'm going to say Kudus with my
Kudus now then I'm coaching him number 10. Me perceive that me share Thomas Frank and Kudus maybe some you know. Is it that Kudus in catch the coach in the number 10 obey me abo. And now so say Thomas Frank and Kudus in the because Ken. Adentina Ken Moyan Central for Ghana for nyina di. Not Tottenham Timmy bomb atasa. Asa number 10 na Kudus na wings so ayana munka bibi nchira coach nana
yes some more numbers
na Kudus coach na I mean embarrassing matasa ya ne boy flexibility be any motimi but Tottenham 10 na Kudus coach na ho ntimi jana it's not make say I don't get it.
So me that say my big imra na you toss from nyame yadoma o transfer game no North London derby Arsenal and his best he says in Kofu Pedro Arsenal draw. Biggie.
Ken.
You didn't come okay.
Ken, my mention here from the Arsenal game. Osha Arsenal, former Mukita. And the ball Arsenal the bar. Mejitum said this season in the English Premier League. So who put Tima now away form was proper. In fact, the best performing away team has been Tottenham. No doubt about it. But when it comes to the London derbies this time around, for some seasons now, Arsenal has been the best. Seba London derbies are. Most of the clubs are more London Ninja. Arsenal making sure to pick the maximum points from these clubs. No ake album, no the Gina baby obijina. No, so they are building who on the league log. Tottenham, any Arsenal, Baba Bishia. Problem back where Arsenal Bobo a lot of people are looking out for. How Arsenal defense in the absence of Gabriel Magalhaes, Arsenal beating Yakopi. But can say Arsenal for the past 2 or 3 seasons. Problem are not Arsenal wapa, especially last 2 seasons. Abra William Saliba, prior Arsenal and the Premier League, even when no more fighting for the Premier League title and no more very close, was because quality and equal replacement. Our best in our central defense, the Ama Arsenal, no more team compete. It's a weird thing. Edema Arsenal Bobo Kono. But this season, you look at the kind of quality in abundance. Arsenal Bobo Koni Kita. Yaka squad depth, upe team o Premier League nimu. Our squad depth pa. I am going to go for Arsenal Bobo Kono. Enti mi hu. Se obi pra bako. Ebe timi the Arsenal team na conform. And as a bema Arsenal team na fall short. In the absence of Gabriel Magalhaes, Arsenal ewo Christian Mosquera. I watch it with any little opportunity he has gotten. So with so much quality obey me stepping in. Now our body amas na Bobo Kono. Aside him, there is Piero Henkapi. I want to watch it say obaye little opportunity awanya. On to proving home. When Arsenal played in the EFL Cup against Brighton, to me, he was my best player. Game on born on the day, how he controlled the defense for the Arsenal team clearly. Actually, Obia wire ready. Say Oba Timunwa Baba Juma. The problems are not facing Arsenal. And Yema Arsenal in the previous seasons, this time around, those problems are fixed. And the Gabriel Magalhaes injury and said a problem. Tottenham no Baba Beshi Arsenal and so can. In their striking department, more problem. Solanke Ntimi Mobi. Colomwan Ntimi Mobi. Colomwan in Podia, if he's available, he's played around 191 minutes and the Yama Tottenham Bobo Kono with just one shot. It's clearly untibin kind of fan kahon. Richarlison yedi obeti media boabo boko, that is true. But he's not getting the needed support, especially in big games. Our 4 goals this season, and you're bad. But the kind of support are the players from the flanks. Brent Johnson, Kudus Mohamed, Eribe Manono, Eba. But in big games, you don't see these players. The last time a big game was against Chelsea. Kudus Mohamed was off color. And we are doing the Kudus Mohamed. And again, another big game against Arsenal. Kudus Mohamed may not sure say 100% enough to face the Arsenal team because of free injury and an error. It will be to me a big game be the amount. But one to me more the kind of performance I ever expected from Kudus Mohamed. Because once I will free injury, there's been a bit of a setback. And so on the performance anymore. And was at Tottenham making sure someone will be defended the lines very well. Record back Arsenal kita this season. Second, 13 matches Arsenal in all competitions. I watch it first. Arsenal kita 100% record. This season, only Arsenal Igbo game. Not only Arsenal first goaler, Arsenal goes on to win the game. The only time maybe Arsenal will draw and Arsenal will lose. I say opponent and Arsenal first. But so what's now Arsenal first goaler. 13 matches in all competitions. Nina Arsenal ekita 100% record. I will win it. It's the defensemen of Tottenham. In this game. The kind of quality Arsenal Kitano, especially from their midfield, makes them dominant in almost every game or any opposition. Last time Arsenal Lucy game was in August, and we lose it to a Liverpool. Since then, Arsenal about 14 matches in our competitions, while winning 12 and one draw just 2. And looking at the position of Arsenal, and the kind of mindset set this season there, as I saw with me pushing on the English Premier League title, no, and was say Arsenal call all out, no making sure to beat me after the 3 maximum points in this game. It wouldn't be easy, yes, but no 2 ways about it. I am very confident to say Mikel Arteta and Mrantiano, ebe for the 3 maximum points. Nyanko Ponya Adoma Echena. The absence of Victor Gyökeres any problem. So watch a player. I don't know anytime I ever friend. Say Omroba Jinem as a makeshift number 9 the master Bobuku. Now pen numbers the moment now. Clearly, if you say Arsenal ever picking the 3 maximum points in this game. Ken Newcastle Bobuku no. And Manchester City. Newcastle performance this season and yet Debbie. If you are comparing Newcastle last season to Newcastle this season, there is a vast difference. Or Newcastle Bobuku now the 14th league log and so. The last 5 matches in the Premier League were Lucy Makoma Komiansa. And a Newcastle Bobuku na Lucy. And clearly, the kind of performance almost they made this time around. And the performance a bit me GDA and so on performance anymore. Manchester City, on the other hand, at the start of the season, that performance they up and down. But so when Pep Guardiola, we young Basha show the Amo be on any competitive league because say your league, na Pep Guardiola and a good runner, a boosting the confidence on any players in England. It gets to a point. On me to me, I should be 10-15 matches at the atwaso. Any opponent on Mube should be found. And Pep Guardiola and Manchester City, the last 6 matches they have played in the English Premier League, consecutively, on me to me, winning Mako 5. It's the kind of confidence. Omodi babe run such a game, muno. E put you up there. So we Liverpool in your last Premier League game. Now Liverpool share 3-0. Me assure say be more extra GDB. Now they akwa run such a game. Again, the Newcastle team deficiencies kakra wo team ni mu. Dan Ben out. One of their best defenders since on your opportunity to run Newcastle boko no. But this time he's not available. It is all Lucy Dan Ben. Clearly, Omo Obenyo Omo Botsman and Malik Thiaw. Malik Thiaw, since he came to the Premier League, me not so much confidence in his performance. Until me, mama, that grade A performance, I may expect a free central defender. I will see a kind of Newcastle. It is stopping the life wire for the Manchester City team. Allen Bot Haaland. A problem at the Newcastle Bobo. This season, games are Haaland bar on to be go. Manchester City suffer in those games. It's a City game. Na Haaland and Timmy and she go almost suffer. It in Cardia Babu Newcastle Bobo code pa. And it's some baby kiss or some Meso Ellen Butaland mu. Na on Timmy go. Sadia Baya City Bobo Kone Bebre. But the defensive men of Newcastle and you're up to the task in the absence of Dan Ben. So Bobo Timmy I say Jumano. In Finfina City be facing problems kaka. Gumares, Sandro Tonali, and a Joe Linton. This is a midfielder. Almost every player is a hard tackler. If you know more for creativity, Bruno Guimaraes, Jolinton or did that drive in the Bam Newcastle Wobokono. Or also so off the ball, and very hard on any opponent. Player back also a difference maker than Manchester City and Nico Gonzalez. Ken, he's in the form of his life this season for Manchester City. The last game they played against Liverpool, on a man Liverpool midfield, no sorry to say useless. Or control game with Manchester City. It dictated the pace. It set a good tempo. The tackles, now you're perfect. The timing and everything. It's in games like this. I'll be here points, to build that kind of momentum and confidence. To play the subsequent matches, looking at baby Manchester City Bobo Cody free banner. I feel said they are in the right frame of mind to pick the 3 maximum points against Newcastle Bobo Kono. Kokwe di Kayaka. Eddie Howe as a coach has never won against Manchester City. In 18 matches. And Eddie Howe in Manchester City abo. Ewo Premier League anymore. While losing Makumaku 16, no draw just 2. 16 losses from 18 games to draw just 2. And me who and as an exception, Debbie. Me who is a tradition never to us. Manchester City is definitely going to win, possibly a 2-1 win for the Manchester City team. Liverpool say you're careful. Ken, Ocean Nottingham Forest, Nottingham Nyadie, a fact. But I dear Baku woman say, Nottingham Nyadie at the start of the season, coach a friend says Sean Dyke, and you're not an Sean Dyke buying in the Premier League about 3 matches. But 3 matches now are bonus social results now. The performance of the Nottingham Forest team is on the rise. In Kakanka performance in Ipeja. The first game will lose to Bournemouth. Bournemouth home. Ball at Bournemouth football. Former Semenyomu home, so lose to them again. Any news? Or Koni home no Koko Lucy. After that, or Tenef no ball Manchester United Bobo Kono. And we now draw. It's after a loss in the first game in the Premier League for Nottingham Forest Bobo Kono, Obaba being a drawn game, an improved performance over the previous one. After Manchester United, Osansu Bolis United, and also when a 3-1, it's clearly Oshas from Lusono, or Benya draw, Ababa Benya win. It's the psyche and mentality of the players. Liverpool, on the other hand, I do Omo Oba expect some big, yes. Omo performance never cost you yes. But unfortunately for Liverpool, the last 6 matches are Liverpool Bobo Konabo, English Premier League, they are off color. Omo Lusima Kumako 5. The last 6 matches in the Premier League, Liverpool are losing 5 and we're winning just 1. After that win against Aston Villa, no chance of winning against Real Madrid. Now you feel some team in confidence, the performance never back. You be who Liverpool be. And a sign about toy against Manchester City. But teams like City no be to any news. dan so obetena fi na Nottingham Forest boku na baba be hye wo eno ne be problem but Liverpool team no absence bi wo mo be affected the Liverpool team Florian Wirtz ebi oba Liverpool o mo obo bebre but the last time I won Florian Wirtz against Real Madrid boku no all on the flanks which is the left flank and the Liverpool boku no the performance was good he performed well but the free one on the air ban say see onya available obetimi abo game ni bi ama Liverpool boku no the midfield Conor Bradley ni honom enti ABS say this obos na be the right back o de ne ba honom a wanya problem because Nottingham Forest boku no midfield honom no they have players who have very good tacklers Elliot Anderson born was ro Ibrahim Sangare another combative midfielder and so it's who you key players from the midfielder who create Tokro